Hello, fellow Econauts, and welcome back to our show. I'm here with my brother Ben, the Rocketman, and today is space history, and we are talking about the Voyager mission. Hey Ben, how are you?
Hey Simon, how's it going? Hi, fellow Econauts. Yeah, we are talking about the Voyager mission today.
What exactly is the Voyager mission?
So, in a nutshell, we have sent two spacecraft into our solar system to investigate Jupiter and Saturn moons, and they have already took them a couple of decades. They have left our solar system.
And when have those spacecraft been launched?
They have been launched in 1977. So Voyager 1 launched in September, I think 5th of September from the top of my head. And Voyager 2 launched on the 20th of August 1977.
How far away are they now?
Right now, let me check quickly on the website, because obviously they are still flying, so the distance changes all the time. Their distance from the sun is 24,341,407,720 kilometer right now. And obviously, distance is increasing. So the spacecraft are both traveling with about 17,000 kilometer per second.
What was the purpose of those spacecraft and the mission itself?
Well, we had in the 70s and 80s a very rare geometric arrangement in our solar system. So usually, when we travel to other planets, you can either use a lot of propellant to get there, or you can use the gravity of different planets to sort of make that slingshot and accelerate to the next one, and hence save a lot of fuel. And yeah, as I said, we had a very rare constellation in our solar system, and we took advantage of that, so that two spacecraft could be constructed cheap enough to actually do the distance. And their main purpose was actually to investigate, as I said before, Saturn and Jupiter in a flyby and their moons. And they took some pictures of that. And once that has been achieved, they just kept going and reached the edge of our solar system. We have a certain, we're in a bubble in our solar system as well. And it turns out there was actually a big discovery, because what we didn't really expect was that outside of our solar system, there are actually small particles. So the universe is not completely empty. There's it's very likely that there's it's very light, or very sparely dense in terms of having anything. So it's not like you bump against something or like air, but there's an amount of hydrogen particles in that area.
They're still flying and investigating.
Yes, they're still flying. So we still have contact to them. I think a couple weeks back there was a problem with Voyager 1, so that they couldn't get any signal back anymore. But they managed, because after a while these spacecrafts are designed in a way that after a while they would realign themselves towards Earth. So they got 24 hours back later, they got connection again. But yeah, so they're still running. They are already, because the distance of the sun means they don't have enough energy available anymore. They have an RTG, a radioactive thermal generator on board to make electricity, but most of the components are not usable anymore. So they are just running on the last legs really, but they're still going.
If I'm not mistaken, I think NASA made a decision to actually turn off certain parts of Voyager 1 and 2 to increase their livelihood and to make sure that they're actually able to fly even further. Is that correct?
Yes, in order to fly, obviously you need communication. Otherwise, you can't give commands or just check it. So if you don't know if it's there, you can't check it. So therefore, they had to pretty much turn everything off, which would prohibit having communication channels open. And even then, like a communication channel takes several days before it actually reaches back Earth. So you send a signal, you have to wait, and then you get the signal back after a while.
Yeah, I think the first couple of things that they disabled when they realized that they are not getting any power anymore. I think we're like the uh, obviously the cameras,
Yeah,
and
cameras and other sensors.
they
Yeah.
just enabled them back when they wanted to have like certain pictures taken, and then they turned them back off. That's at least my from my understanding.
Yeah, I think at this stage they don't even turn it on at all
No, no,
anymore.
no. I
So
mean that
the
was like
yeah,
in an earlier when they were like
yeah, 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 exactly.
still in our well just basically left our solar system more or less, and they were still able to gain some power so that they were um, capable of sending some pictures back. And I think now they are so far away that that it wouldn't make any sense to take pictures anyway, right?
Well, I mean, you could still take pictures, but you wouldn't see a lot on that. Also, you can't just align it easily. So it's every time you have to align it, you need to use propellant. I'm not even sure that if it still has propellant, to be honest. Maybe a very minute amount. There's, there's nothing. You can't refill it.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah, absolutely.
refueling
Yeah.
station. Um, but yeah, they're still moving. They will continue to move. We will just at some point we will completely lose contact. And give you a perspective, so as I said, they launched in 77. That means they're 46 years now flying. Just reached the edge of our solar system. They're not completely, as I said, there's a bit of a, I don't want to go too much into the details in the science, but there's a layer which they are penetrating in the moment from that bubble. And like think of it like the skin of a bubble, which is sort of we're just in that skin of that bubble with Voyager 1 and 2. And in order to communicate, one-way light time is 24 hours, I think, about, or 22 hours or something. That means if you want to have a communication with that, it's like imagine there would be somebody on board, just hypothetically, and you would say hello. You would say hello. It takes 22 hours to reach that person. That person would respond hello. It would take another 22 hours to come back. So communication would be like after every time you say something, you have to wait pretty much 2 days before you get a response. And
That's
imagine now you
insane.
have to yeah, so now you imagine you have to control anything, so you can't maneuver or anything. It's very tough to do that. So it's really just flying and test it if you can still communicate.
I do have a little fun fact that I haven't shared with you before this episode. So, as you know, I am a passionate Elite Dangerous player, and there's actually a possibility in game that you can visit Voyager, and you can
Ah,
actually find that the players were
that's cool.
able to locate Voyager, and that is like a tourist spot in game. So that's I think that is kind of funny. I do have one last question. Do you think that they might be a follow up mission for Voyager, maybe to Voyager 3? With I mean, I can imagine with all the technology that we have available now, sending another spacecraft or maybe even two Voyager 3 and 4 to get some other pictures. Do you think that this might be a possibility, even if it's not right now, but maybe in the near future?
Well, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, the reason why Voyager 1 and 2 was launched 77 was because of that very specific geometric constellation of our planets at the time. I'm not sure when we will have that constellation again. Without it, you need way more propellant or other ways to accelerate and move your spacecraft forward. So I think the short answer is I don't know. I from the top of my head, I don't know when the next time will be that this geometric constellation will be available. Maybe in the next 100 years or so. I don't know, and I also don't know what kind of technology we will have available. There was talk, I think it was also in the 70s, about the Pegasus. I think it was the Pegasus mission, where the idea was to have a fusion fueled propellant, which more or less enables you to propel for way longer and also way faster to actually reach our next neighbor solar system. Um, and I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, now also knowing, and for that reason, the Voyager mission was actually very useful. Now knowing that outside of our solar system there are actually particles flying, that means also that it has a huge impact if we want to do interstellar flight at some point, because it means there's friction. And at let's say if you could fly nearly with the speed of light, that would mean you have also to take into account the collisions of small particles, which would penetrate and destroy your spacecraft.
So you need a shield.
You need a shield, exactly.
Shield enabled.
Yeah. Forward front shield enabled.
Front shield.
Or
enabled.
energy transfer to the
Put all
front
the
shield.
energy to the front shields, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's end it for now. All right, that's all it for today. I hope you had a good episode. We certainly had some fun talking about Voyager 1 and 2. If you like this episode, don't forget to leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already.
And don't forget to smash that notification bell.
And also, if you like, leave a comment.
And watch our other episodes as well.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.